Hi, Kit here. Today I begin a journey that I am hoping will take me back to full side splits by the time I'm 70, which is about 18 months' time, I think. I used to have perfect side splits. If you look in the book Stretching and Flexibility, you'll see me suspended between two blocks with my hips below my heels. But it's been a long time since I've been that loose, and I've decided that, well, it's a milestone to go for. And I was inspired by Ivan's channel here, and I'll link to his channel as well. He's been doing full squats, back squats and front squats for, I think it's nearly 650 days now, something like that. And I decided that making a daily blog, or at least a few times a week, post which actually shows what I'm doing, not from some theoretical perspective, but what I'm actually doing each day in terms of hard stretching on one day and limbering exercises on another day and odd assistant exercises here and there, that I thought that if anyone else wanted to start their side splits journey as well, this would be as good a way to do it as any. So I've done no warming up today. It's about 11 o'clock here, maybe 11:30. We've been out walking. I guess you could call that a warm-up. But no stretching, and I won't do any stretching or any preparation work before I shoot these clips. So here we go, day one. I'm going to turn away from you for this first exercise. The first exercise, and this is what I would always do myself, is of course a modified form of the Cossack squats. I say of course because there is no exercise like this one for loosening up the hips. Now you'll notice I've got my feet pointing up to the ceiling, and I'm going to do a version where the feet are flat in a moment. But when I come down into this position here, all I'm really doing is trying to let my hips go as close to this heel as possible, and in the process my outstretched leg is being stretched. And then I'll transition to the other leg like this. You'll notice I turn this leg out as I do that. I come down holding myself. This foot is flat on the floor, and in this position here, this is my tighter leg in terms of abduction. I can feel that gracilis inner hamstring line there. And so the approach that we use, we'll be doing limbering exercises, we call them micro movements or pulsing. What I'm doing is I'm lowering myself, bringing myself out, lowering myself, bringing myself out, and also twisting away from the outstretched leg a little bit, because that adds something today, and trying again to get as low as possible without doing myself any injury. That's about as low as I can get today. So we'll just move backwards and forwards. I might even go on the other side of the column here, just so you can see everything from the inside. I also recommend being far enough away from a column like this, or edge of a door, or whatever it is you're using to support yourself, so that you can hold it at arm's length in a relaxed fashion like this, because it's so much easier to hold for time. And it's not just for time as in time on a clock. The question to ask yourself always is, and I'm just doing this now, I take a breath in and I let my tummy go completely soft. And when I say soft, I'm talking about soft. Then I take another breath in, and as I breathe out, I let myself go down lower. And so the process, whether we use contractions or not, is a two-part one. One, we take a breath in consciously, feeling the breath and what it feels like in that instant, and then breathe out and let the tummy go completely soft. That's step one. Step two, take another breath in and only move deeper into the stretch during the period of that breath out. So it's time to transition again. And the right leg is definitely tighter today than the left one. So that's step one. Explore a few gentle Cossack squats. One of my absolute all-time favorite exercises. If you have never done a Cossack squat before, I will link to a full tutorial I recorded while presenting a workshop, and that will get you started. Okay, so step two is to leave the foot flat on the floor this time, and also twist like this so that the hips are roughly aligned in the line of the feet. And now, and hold this for a while. I'm trying to keep my body as close to upright as possible. I'm also pressing this leg here completely straight. And do the same on the other side. Turn the other leg out. Now it's facing directly away from the back leg, and you'll see that I'm tighter on this side. Still not too bad. And so I'm going to do a little bit of a contraction here. I'm going to press that foot, the outstretched one, down into the ground using the groin muscles and the hamstrings and gracilis as well. And then watch. Take a breath in, let the tummy go soft. Take another breath in. And what I'm trying to do is to get down as low on this side as I was on the other side. Just double check that again. No, still a bit looser on this side. But anyway, that will do to start. And now when you're working out how you're going to approach your side splits, there's a very important question to ask yourself. And that is, do my legs want to open easily when my feet are flat on the floor and parallel, or do I need to externally rotate the legs in the hip joints? And you ask yourself those two questions. We'll experiment with that in a moment. And my recommendation is whichever feels the easiest in the hips themselves, that's the way you approach how you're going to do side splits. So in other words, let me demonstrate. If we simply open the legs up like this, you'll see I can't get very far at all. And I feel a kind of jamming sensation in the hips. As I spend a bit more time here, of course, I get down a bit lower, but I definitely am not as loose when my lumbar spine is flat and the feet are in this position. But watch what happens here. If I let my lumbar spine extend slightly, all of a sudden I can get the legs a bit further apart. So that's one approach. You should try that. But then if I do this and turn the legs apart, I think you can see that the movement down is significantly easier. So for me, the path to side splits has always been using that fully abducted leg and hip position. So that's all I want to do today. It's just an introduction and just a start. We've done Cossack squat supported using the pole, which means you can relax in the bottom position. We did a version of a yoga pose called Skandasana, which is where one foot is flat on the floor and the other one is turned out, and we went down as low as possible. And then we did the quick experiment of, are my legs wanting to go apart more when they're parallel, or are they going apart more easily when my legs are externally rotated? So before we meet next time, why don't you try that too and decide which is going to be the best path for you. I'm going to be pursuing both because you need both, but you'll find if you do that little test with yourself that one will definitely be easier than the other. So why don't you try it, and I'd love to hear your comments below too. Thank you.